CJ Stroud, beginning of the season, he was on a record-breaking pace. He was probably the predominant Heisman Trophy winner. But as the season progressively moved forward, Caleb Williams became the superstar of college football. And a lot of people believe the number one pick in next year's draft. Not this year, next year's draft.
Correct.
What were your thoughts of Caleb Williams, the transitioning from jumping from Oklahoma to USC and leading a Trojan team that had no business, honestly, all year with the record they had with a new coach?
He's a fantastic player. And look, we clearly established that I'm a big Ohio State fan. But of the two quarterbacks, I think Caleb Williams is the better quarterback. I think he's better than CJ Stroud. I think there's more things he can do. Stroud falls into your more traditional pocket passer, which nothing wrong with. We still have pocket. Joe Burrow is a more traditional pocket passer. It's like they're still making these guys. It's not like they've gone extinct. But Caleb Williams falls in line of this more new wave, these multifaceted, really fantastic athletes. So talented. They might even be able to play another position or another sport just because they're such good athletes. But he just happens to play quarterback, and he does it really, really well. So, look, would I be happy if CJ Stroud won the Heisman? Absolutely. I'm an Ohio State fan. I'd be thrilled for him. We haven't had one win since Troy Smith back in 2002, I believe it was. So, yeah, I would be thrilled. But I would be totally fine with as long as Stetson Bennett doesn't win it. As long as Stetson Bennett doesn't win it, I'm good. Anybody else can win it.
He's not winning it.
He's better not.
He's not. It's honestly, it's probably Caleb Williams.
I think so too.
Everybody, I mean, everything that I've read is all the writers think that this kid is, everybody was talking about Trevor Lawrence. Some people say that this guy is, light years better than Trevor Lawrence is. So coming out of college. So they were wrong about Trevor. As of right now, Trevor Lawrence still could be a good quarterback in the NFL.
He could.
He's
showing signs.
Yes.
He's showing signs, but we'll see.
I have a feeling he's a mediocre quarterback at best. I think you could win with him, but he's mediocre. This kid, there's just something about him. Playing on one leg, he was limping, he was running down the field. He put his career on the line to try to win it for his team. And that's something you look for in sports. You look for the guy that is going to put his body on the line and do it for not just himself, but all 53, 56 players on that team. And that shows me leadership. That shows me love and compassion. And that's what I love. And I wish he was on my team. So I think there's something about this kid that really is remarkable. And great season or no great season next year, he's the number one pick. There's no question in my mind.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely fantastic. That 24 class sneakily is looking pretty good. Drake May from UNC is a very good quarterback as well, and he's big. He fits that walk off the bus and you look at the guy and you're like, oh crap, that's the quarterback. That he has that look to him, and he can play for sure. So yeah, it's going to be a good class.
So I want to go back to some fantasy football. A lot of leagues into the playoffs now. Two-part question here. One, waiver ads that you think could be like league winners, really big sleepers. And two, fantasy players that you think have like easy schedules to win your league with.
Right now, unfortunately, there's really no, this week specifically, there's no waiver wire ads that are ones that you're like, oh yeah, that one could put you over the top. We didn't have any crazy significant injuries to skill position players this week. We mentioned like Lamar Jackson and whatnot. So if you want to pick up Tyler Huntley, sure. But, quarterback, especially in most 1 QB leagues, isn't making a significant difference for your team. But chances are you probably have better options even than Tyler Huntley there. But guys that I think could end up putting you over the top as far as your fantasy playoffs go, one guy that everyone seems to sleep on every year, and a couple years ago, he finished as the RB4 in all of fantasy football because of his late season finish, and I think he could do it again this year, is David Montgomery. Look, I know he's not the biggest names. I know he's not the sexiest player, but Khalil Herbert being on the IR, he might come back. We'll have to see, but he's getting a lot of work, and this is a run-first team that now has a superstar at quarterback in Justin Fields, who has been playing absolutely out of his mind lately as far as throwing the ball, running the ball. He's doing it all. But even Superman can use a little bit of help here and there. And I think that's where David Montgomery is going to come in, help take some of that wear and tear off of the quarterback. And we'll see a lot of good things from him. So I think David Montgomery is a good sneaky one. Another one, Keenan Allen. I know it's been frustrating because he's been injured a lot this season, but we still haven't gotten Mike Williams back. I'm not sure that we will get Mike Williams back. Justin Herbert, he's doing everything he can to try to keep this team afloat. And Keenan Allen's back and finally healthy at the right time. He's been his number one target the entirety of Herbert's career. He'll continue to be that over the course of the fantasy playoffs. So I think he's another guy that I really like this time of year.
I just had a Josh Palmer in one of my leagues because Williams probably isn't coming back. So I'm like, okay, hopefully this continues.
There you go.
Last question for me. You look at this season now, the NFL, it's coming to an end. When you look at this playoffs, and it could go, a lot of people think right now Kansas City versus the Eagles, because obviously they're the two best teams right now in the league. Some people like the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills. Where do you see the Super Bowl going this year as of right now, what you have seen?
Yeah, I can definitely see some real credence to an Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl. But I'm gonna go a little off script here, and even though I think that the Niners would have been the team had it not been for the Jimmy G injury, we'll go with the Eagles in the NFC. But I think these Bengals might surprise people. Do it again, go back and actually win it this year against the Eagles. So that's my call right now. Eagles, Bengals pull it out.
Interesting. All right, my last question. Going into the season, a fantasy football take that you nailed, that you were very confident in, and one that you were wrong on. What was it? What was it for this year?
Yeah. So the one that I absolutely nailed was I projected that not only would Ramondre Stevenson be better than Damian Harris this year, but he would be a running back 1. And that's exactly what we've seen. He's running back 8 overall right now. After the first 2 weeks where they were kind of sharing time, he's been a running back 5. Been consistent each and every week, hasn't had less than 12.5 points since week 3. So he's just been so solid, so steady all season in PPR leagues. So that was the one that I absolutely nailed. Feel really good about. I had a few that could have gone better. We'll put it that way. But one of the ones that I thought was going to be awesome, and partly it's due to injury, but it wasn't even looking great before the injury. I thought Javonte Williams was going to just absolutely feast this year. But we saw the beginning of the year, he was splitting time still for some reason with Melvin Gordon. And then he had the terrible knee injury. So obviously that did not play out like I had hoped.
Well, we really appreciate your time as always. We'll get you on very, very soon. It won't be as long as it has been, but you know your stuff, as everybody knows, and you're one of those fantasy nerds that know and statistically look at things as a whole. So we really appreciate everything.
Absolutely. Had a great time, guys.
And don't worry about it, Deshaun Watson. Stay away from those massages, and you'll be good, man. I'm telling you. And if you wanna go to a massage parlor, why don't you go out there to Robert Kraft, and he'll show you the right places to go. Okay, that's all.
I was surprised he didn't end up as a Patriot there.
Well,
don't rule it out.
You know what could have been great? I mean, quarterback and owner could have been going out themselves together. I mean, that would have been great. Maybe they order it and they have a basement where they could have the two different masseuses. One grabs the other and the other grabs the other. They could hold hands. I mean,
no.
Could you imagine Deshaun Watson? And Robert Kraft. I mean, Robert Kraft likes to kiss his players on the lips.
If the Browns Deshaun Watson experiment doesn't work out in 2 years, the Patriots will Robert Kraft will give all the draft picks back just for that.
I mean, they have pictures of Robert Kraft kissing his players on the lips. I mean, I've seen Tom Brady. I've seen Deion Branch. I mean, how many people he has to kiss on the lips to know that he's, does that make him more of a man? Could you imagine him kiss Deshaun Watson on the lips and have, grab his back like he's massaging him? Oh, man. Anyways, Garret, I hope that sets into your head for your Browns, and hopefully Deshaun Watson, pulls away next year. I think he will. I think he's an elite quarterback. He's fantastic, and I think next year, watch out for the Browns. I do believe that. I think they've got the talent. They have the ability to do that, and if this quarterback is anything what he was with the Texans, which I believe he is, watch out. Michael Jordan, as his ex-college coach says.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If he could do those fadeaways like Jordan, then we have something.
His college coach of the constantly overranked Clemson. How they're still in the top 10 is still mind-boggling.